Okay, so if you are Craven Live right now, if you signed up at the beginning to be Craven Live, which means that you want to do all online, if you've decided that you want to come back in person, there is a form that you had to fill out to be able to come back in person. Because the agreement with Craven Live was that if you signed up to do Craven Live, you would do Craven Live for the whole semester. And so if you've decided that that does not work best for you, there is a form that you need to fill out. So I will send out that form to you if you're one of those people, or if you are somebody that did not sign up for Craven Live, but you figured out that virtual learning works well for you, you enjoy it, you're good at it, or you just don't feel safe coming back to school. You know, maybe you have an at-risk person that you live with, or you're at risk or whatever, and you don't feel safe coming back to school, you can try to opt into Craven Live to be all virtual. But if you do that, it probably will be, again, for the rest of the semester, unless you have some kind of extenuating circumstances. But if you are one of those people that wants to opt into Craven Live, you have to fill out the form as well. So that probably means, though, that, you know, if we come back fully in person and everybody gets to come back, if you're on Craven Live, you may not be able to, or you would have to have, like I said, extenuating circumstances to get out of it. So if you have questions about that, let us know. I'll be emailing and sending out the form on Remind if any of you need it. Any questions on that? All right. Let's see who's here. Is Matthew here with us today? What about Dylan? I know you're here. Trent?
Here.
Thank you, sir. Camry?
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Spencer?
Here.
Thank you, Spencer. Eli Moore?
Here.
Thank you, Eli. Aaliyah?
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. I believe that is it that we have with us today. All right, so last week you got to finish your career infographic and work on your resume. You had a lot of time to work on your resume, so hopefully you got that most of the way done. We're going to go over that today in case you have some questions or need some help with it, but hopefully you at least got a good solid start on your resume. Some of you probably already had a resume made, or you had one in process, maybe just needed to update it, things like that. And so hopefully you did, because most of you are juniors and seniors, and you're going to need a good resume. So you want to go ahead and, you know, have one started and have one that you just keep up to date, so that when an opportunity comes up, you can just update it and then use it. So this is the assignment, this is the template, so I want to talk through this a little bit, and then we're going to look at a couple of resume samples. and watch a video that has some tips as well. So a resume should be 1 or 2 pages. It should not be any longer than 2 pages. Most of the time they really want it to be 1 page, but sometimes it's hard to fit it in 1 page. So some things that you want to make sure to include, so each of these letters is like a section. So you want your name, address, phone number. This one says a FFA chapter because obviously this resume is geared towards ag students, FFA students. So that's why it has a lot of FFA stuff. So we're going to kind of talk through what you can put if you're not in FFA. B, a career objective. So what exactly would a career objective be? That would be whatever your goal is, or maybe whatever job it is you want to obtain. So if I was applying to be a welder at a metal fabrication company, then my career objective would be to obtain a welding job at so-and-so company and work on my skills and grow in the areas of metal fabrication. If my career objective was to go to college, if I wanted to go to Craven Community for nursing, then my career objective might be to attend Craven Community College and obtain my associate's degree in nursing, and then obtain a career in the nursing field at Vidant Hospital. You know, that might be a career objective that I would have. C is going to be your education. So what kind of education you've had. So far, probably all of yours is either West Craven High School education, or maybe some of you have already taken some community college classes that you could put on there. But you know, that would be a good thing to put as well. So under education, you want to make sure you list any specific courses, seminars, or other educational experiences that helped you prepare for this career objective or for this job. So for the career objective of being a nurse, maybe I would put, for my education, I would put West Craven High School. And then under that, I would put any classes I took that would help me with being a nurse. So for example, Health Science 1 or Health Science 2, Nursing Fundamentals, or Biology, or Animal Science even could have helped with being a nurse, because a lot of the sciences, they're very similar. A lot of the things are very similar. It's just animals and people. There's only a few things that are different. So I would put any classes that I took that helped. Something like a foreign language would help. If you're working in an industry where you may have to speak a different language, that would be a good class to put on it as well. All right, some other examples of things you might have attended. If you attended any specific seminars or workshops on special interests, special things. If you got any kind of certification, I know that here you can get I think the firefighting certification and the food safe certification, Microsoft certification. So any of those would be things that you would put here for education. All right, FFA leadership activities and awards. So this doesn't have to be specifically FFA related. It could just be leadership activities or awards. So these can come in many different forms. Some of it is FFA, while others are school, community, and other things. So some examples that this had were all FFA based, any of these things that you might have participated in. Or maybe it was, you know, different other leadership organizations. Maybe you were a leader in the band, or maybe you were a captain of a sports team, or maybe you were in another club where you were an officer, or maybe you were you know, active at your church or in scouts, or you know, any kind of organizations like that. And then any awards that you might have been given. So maybe you've been given some class awards, or maybe you've been given awards in your community. maybe other awards, scholarships, anything like that you may have been presented with. Even, if you've maintained, honor roll, you could put honor roll, that you've maintained honor roll for however many years, or principals list, or whatever. You always want to try to think of anything that you may have done, any kind of award that you may have gotten, to put under these, because you want to have as much as you can remember about what you've done. And then school leadership activities and awards. So these are just going to be activities and things that you did. Doesn't necessarily have to be like a leadership role, like you maybe weren't an officer, but I know a lot of you have been in FFA or were in FFA, so you could put that you were an FFA member. You weren't an officer necessarily, but being an FFA member, you could put that here. National Honor Society, you would put that there. Any kind of homecoming events, if you're in any sports, if you were a team manager for a sport, if you were in any class plays, if you were on yearbook staff, any of those things you would put there. All right, then we go down to community leadership activities and awards. So include major community related activities. So if you volunteer with the fire department, if you work as a scout or scouting program, if you volunteer at a hospital, a nursing home, child care center, if you're in a church youth group that you attend regularly, anything like that, any type of volunteering that you do within the community. If you go out to, West Craven Middle School gym and help out with the youth basketball league on Saturdays, if you, help out with a hunting tournament that takes place every year, if you do different community service projects with your church, or if you helped out a lot with community service during the hurricanes or during COVID, anything like that, you can put. All right, and then any other accomplishments that maybe don't fit in any of those specific categories. So let's say that, maybe you did win some kind of essay writing contest, or just some random award. I know some of you have been on the hunter safety team, so you could put that here, or you could put it in school activity, any of those types of things. And then lastly, you have your references. So it's important that you always have 3 people that you can list as references, and you need to have their names, addresses, phone numbers, email, somewhere in your phone, or somewhere where you can access them very quickly, because a lot of times they ask for references on job applications. So if you go to a job and you fill out the application there, you may not have your computer, or you may not have time to call them and get all that information. So you want to go ahead and ask those 3 references if it's okay for you to use them, and then make sure you obtain this information from them and always have it with you. Put it in your phone in a note or something so that you'll have that. But usually your references, you want them to be somebody like a teacher, an employer, a coach, a mentor. You do not want them to be like family members. You don't want any of your references to be related to you. You don't want it to be just like a peer. You want it to be somebody that's worked with you or taught you, that can really complement your skills and talk about, the things that you're really good at. All right, let's look at an example. Are there any questions about the resume so far?
Let's start. Like, what if you ain't did none of that?
Yeah, you've done some of it.
I did none of that.
Have you had any type of jobs or anything? Any volunteer work that you've done?
No.
Nothing?
No.
You haven't helped out in your community? You don't help out your neighbors every now and then?
I babysit.
There you go. You can put that. So in the category where it said like other, you could put babysitting and put like what age group, you know, and how often you do it. Really, you can just put like your age group. You can put babysitting. That's kind of like previous work experience. So that would be good. And that reminds me, if you have previous work experience, make sure you put that on there as well. That's always important. Usually they'll ask for it on the job application, but that's important to have in your resume too. All right, so we're gonna look at my resume first, but make sure you understand that I've been in college and out of college now for a while, so I have a lot more information on my resume than you do. I've had a lot more work experience probably, so that's why mine is so full and has so much. Yours starting off probably is not going to be this full. Again, yours is probably going to be only 1, maybe 2 pages, and that's okay, because you want to make sure you concentrate on, you know, what your skills are. So even if you don't have some of the club experiences and things like that, we're also going to talk about some of the skills that you can put that you're good at. So here's my career objective. It kind of talks about some of my skills as well in the career objective, and you can also do that with yours too. So my career objective was that I want to an enthusiastic educator eager to contribute to team success through hard work, attention to detail, and excellent interpersonal skills. I have a clear understanding of ag education and FFA, motivated to develop young people through leadership opportunities, mentoring, and self-reflection. Focused on building confidence and enhancing skills while delivering student-centered instruction. Passionate about helping students cultivate a love of ag and FFA while establishing a growth mindset. So that's going to be very different than what your career objective should be. So you come down, you see that I have education. I have my previous education. I didn't put high school because at this point, you just kind of reference college once you get to a certain age, or you reference your work experience. So I put my experience at NC State University. All right, and then I put my work experience as an FFA advisor. So things that I did as an FFA advisor and a teacher, classes I taught. So this would be my prior work experience. I also am JV volleyball coach, so I put the things that I do concerning that, skills that I have from that as well. Leadership, growth, and development is going to be your awards, things that I've been awarded in the professional world. And then these are just different things that I've been involved in, different grants I've gotten, other awards, certifications, and then professional associations. So this one's a lot longer than what yours will be. So let's compare that to what a high schooler should look like. All right, so if you're struggling with your resume and what to put on it, this is one that maybe can help you think of some stuff. So the career objective, this person said they're a responsible, ambitious student with excellent time management, seeking to apply their customer service abilities and project event planning skills to the business development summer internship at your company. All right, so over to the side, you want to make sure however you set it up, you can use whatever template you want. Make sure you have all your contact information, so a phone number, email, your address, and then if eventually you may have a LinkedIn profile that you would put on there as well. So this one, put their education over to the side, and you put your graduating date, your high school you went to, and what city and state that was in. If your GPA is really good, you could put that up there, but you don't have to put it up there. And then relevant coursework that, like we talked about, any classes that you may have taken that would help with getting the job that you're applying for. So as we go down, this person doesn't have work experience per se where they got paid, but they have volunteer experience where they did volunteer opportunities. So this person worked at a children's hospital as an information desk assistant, greeting hospital patients, processing and distributing mails, assisting wheelchair-bound patients in reaching their destinations. They also volunteered at a homeless shelter, and these were the different jobs that they did there. So this is where you could put, if it's work experience where you got paid, you could put the same information. you would put what your job was, where it was at, and then what years it was. And then you also put maybe some skills or things that you did during that time. All right, and so you can go back to however many jobs you've had. You can also include your volunteer information as well. So over here, they didn't have a whole list of awards, so they just put their awards over here to the side because they just had a couple. And then they put some skills that they're good at. So this is very important. You know, Aaliyah asked, what if you don't have a lot of that? Well, you know, still convey some of those skills. You could do it in this format, or you could put your skills over here in the bigger area and actually go into some detail. You know, if you are good at public speaking, you could put public speaking and then mention events and things that you have spoken at and how you've developed those skills. Or, you know, if you're good with computers and technology, you can put that and explain how you're good with technology, you're creative, maybe you're able to, you know, make really good infographics, or maybe you're good at drawing in general and creative that way, then you could put that as a skill as well. So, you know, going back to this, kind of think about what those skills were that you read about with your personality assessment. Like, what skills did it talk about that you agreed with that you have? So you may have to go back to your personality assessment and look at that, and maybe add some of those skills here. All right, and then their extracurriculars. So this person just put a few things that they were involved in. I don't know if it'll let me open it up. All right, and then down here they attached what would be a cover letter type thing, but really it's just a letter about how to use this template that they included. And so today you're going to be working on a cover letter as well. So some of these examples will be provided for you. Let's see if there's any other good ones to look at. So this one included some testimonies from people that she worked with, or maybe from a teacher, just to kind of add in some things that, you know, reiterate what she's good at. And then this one had general skills that they're good at, so communication, verbal, written, public speaking, phone etiquette, resolution, teaching, math. They're good at business math and basic accounting. Technology, they're good with technology, and put some of the technology programs they're good with. And then soft skills, so they're good with teamwork, dependability, leadership, positive attitude, punctuality, time management. So those are all important things that you can add as well if you don't have enough to make a full page. So if you're having a hard time finding things, make sure you definitely look some stuff up, look at some examples. They'll probably give you some things that you hadn't thought about that would be able to go on your own resume. All right, what questions do you have about resumes? All right. Let's look at today's assignment. Like I said, you did have a lot of time last week to work on your resume, so hopefully you're getting close to being done with it if you're not already. So if you need help with that, feel free to stay on and I can give you some help, or email me and we can figure out a time that works for us to both get on Zoom together and look over it. All right, so for today, week 7, the playlist is up. I'll finish putting in the rest of the days today. So today, synchronously, we were going over resumes together, and then asynchronous is going to be your cover letter assignment. So your assignment is to write a cover letter. So you can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever you want to use. There are plenty of templates in Microsoft or Pages or anything like that that you can use if you don't want to like make your own template. Pick a specific job that you would be interested in and look up a company that would employ or hire that job. So for example, if I want to be a vet tech, I would look up a vet office that I would like working at. So if I want to be in New Bern, I would probably Google vet offices in New Bern, find one that I think I would like, and that would be who I'm addressing the letter to. All right, so for the template, you're going to put your name, street address, city, state, zip code, phone number, the date, and then the individual's name. So if you can't find any individuals with that company, you'll just put to whom it may concern. Then you'll put their job title. Most likely it's going to be a hiring manager, and the name of the organization. So maybe it would be New Bern Emergency Vet, or whatever the company is that you figured out. You'll put their street address, city, state, and zip code. And then you'll address it as dear. If you don't know the person's name, you'll just put to whom it may concern. All right, in your cover letter, your first paragraph, you want to state the reason for writing it. All right, name the specific position or type of work for which you want to apply. Mention how you learned of the opening. So, introduce yourself. Good afternoon. I'm an enthusiastic senior at West Craven High School. I'm very excited to apply for the position of vet tech within your company. I learned of this position through a flyer or through a teacher, or learned of this position online. I saw the opening. All right, your second paragraph, explain why you want to work for this employee and how you fit this position. Don't just repeat stuff on your resume. You want to try to include something special or unique about yourself that will benefit the employer. Remember, the reader will consider this an example of your writing skills. So you want to make sure that you're grammatically correct. You want to make sure that you're catching their attention, making sure that you stand out. You don't want to, half-heartedly and, not do it well, because that's just going to show them that you're not dedicated and that you're not willing to put in the extra effort for the work. So this is like the first impression they're going to have of you. The first impression that they're going to have of you before an interview is going to be your cover letter and your resume. So you want it to be as good as possible so that you have a chance to get an interview for the job. All right, and then your third paragraph, mention that you've attached your resume and indicate your desire to meet with the employer. You may want to suggest dates and times, or simply advise them of your flexibility to meet. Include your day and evening contact info. Include a question or statement that will encourage them to respond to you. Be sure to communicate your plan to follow up. You might state that you'll be in the area on a certain date, or you would like to set up a meeting, or you'll call on a certain date to set up a meeting. Finally, thank the employer for his or her time. Excuse me. So you would say, I have attached my resume and I hope you'll look over it and find that I would be a fit for this job. I'm available on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at any time during the day, or I'm available Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock and would love to set up a meeting. What day would work best for you and what time can we work out to meet? Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, your name. So that's kind of just a closing paragraph, kind of wrapping up, that you would like to meet with them. In the second paragraph, again, make sure you include any special skills that you have. If it's the vet tech job, then, maybe you have special skills in, in training animals or in grooming animals that you've worked with, or maybe you have special skills in communication and leadership. Maybe you have a special knowledge set in animal agriculture. Whatever it is that you feel that you have the special skills that we talked about that are on your resume, make sure that you mention those and fit those into your cover letter. All right, what questions do you have about this? Okay. I have a video for you to watch that will help with your cover letter assignment and your resume, and we were going to watch it together, but I kind of went over on time, so I'm going to post that for you to watch so that if you need help, then you can, I think this video will also help reiterate kind of what we've talked about. So once you're done with your cover letter and your resume, you'll go ahead and submit them. And if you have any questions or you need help, feel free to contact me. What questions can I answer at the moment? All right, if you don't have any questions or if you don't need any help, you can go ahead and sign off and get started working on this. Again, I'll be on for a bit, so if you need help, sign back on and I can help you. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.